start practice lying on your mat, lying down on your back. And so make sure you have warm things close to you, maybe a blanket if you need, depending on where you're at. And so lying down on your mat, for some of us, maybe the feet on the mat, knees pointing up, or you just lie down, rest your pelvis, your sacrum, and relax your hands out to the sides. And closing your eyes. So what we're doing is we'll take a moment to land and arrive. We'll take a moment to just notice what's alive in me this morning, what's alive in me this moment, and feeling your sacrum, your lower back supported and broad allows your nervous system to relax, to soften, to send the signal to the rest of you to really calm down and relax into this moment. So as you close your eyes, notice what thoughts might be meandering around, pulling your attention, and then guide your awareness to breath. So bring your awareness to the space around your nostrils, or anywhere else you feel your breath most powerfully. A beautiful way to tap into breath is turning your inner gaze into the space between your eyebrows towards your third eye center, and then as you breathe through your nose, if you do, notice how air sort of meets right there as you pull it up through your nostrils, through your sinuses, and then down into lungs. So flowing with your breath for a moment, let it carry you. So there's no forcing or straining. We are softening and surrendering into this moment. So letting breath move through you, giving it permission to do what it needs to do, giving it permission to be exactly what it needs to be this moment, and embracing it as it is. And notice how you can maybe soften your body a little deeper into earth as you flow with your breath. Notice how every inhalation has a quality of expansiveness, of maybe physical expansion through your body. And every exhale has a quality of just softening, continuously softening. What I notice as human beings, we have this tendency to hold on. We are afraid because we're only here for a short time, so we carry this fear of death deep inside ourselves, so we want to control and hold on. It's very challenging for us to simply surrender and trust the flow of life, and I'm very much including myself. So we move through life and we sort of fall asleep, we contract, and then there's moments we awaken again, we expand, and we remember the connectedness. We remember the connectedness of everything. So let this class, this session, be that, a reminder to the connectedness. See if you can guide your breath deep all the way throughout your body. Feel your entire body expand as you inhale and soften as you exhale. Maintaining this full body breath helps us to have no space for thoughts. Helps us to stay grounded with this moment. And then flowing with your breath, gently start to move. So bring intuitive movements into body. Imagine yourself waking up from long, long sleep and landing in this human body the very first time ever. Add a deep sense of curiosity, so stretching out legs and stretching out arms, and shift your hips a bit, and not seeing your body from this, oh, this is my body, I've been in it for ages. But more like, oh, this is new. This is the first time I'm moving this body, I'm being in this body. Bring your knees up to chest, your hands onto knees, and then gently sway your knees left and right. Hold your knees, maybe you stroke your hands over your knees, sensing, feeling so deeply in breath and senses that there's no space for anything else. Let's lift our heads towards our knees, wrap our arms around our legs, hug them in tight. Give yourself a squeeze, a big deep hug as a gesture of gratitude for showing up on your mat, showing up for yourself here this morning. And then release your chest, your torso back down, reach your arms up and over, stretch your legs out. And throughout our session today, I invite you to make it yours. Bring your knees back into chest, hug them in again. There's no wrong or right, no good or bad. Keep your left knee into chest, stretch your right leg out, bring your right heel onto mat. Looking forwards and up, keep hugging your left knee in deeply. Right foot stretches away as if you were standing at the bottom of your mat. Rest your torso down, lift your left foot up towards ceiling, wherever that is. Maybe it's here, maybe it's here, maybe you hold on to thigh, maybe you hold on to foot or ankle. Rolling your left ankle, so as if you're drawing circles on the ceiling, going one way, make it a slow, conscious, really big movement, and circle the other way. Right foot stays flexed. And then bending left knee again, hugging it into chest. We lift our gaze, we swap our legs, left leg stretches out, right knee comes in. And then torso back down, and right leg stretches up to ceiling. Noticing maybe there's a difference. Holding on to thigh or ankle. Maybe there's a tension in the hamstrings that make you want to grind your teeth. See if you can soften. Just letting it soften. Circling right foot, moving into your whole range of movement. Circling one way and circling the other way. And then bending right knee again, hugging it into chest, add the left knee, hug them both in, squeeze. And then we keep our chest lifted, we'll just step our feet down onto mat. Keep looking forward. Now your feet hip wide, a little wider, knees pointing apart. Check into navel. See if you can really ground and widen your lower back into mat, and then come up. See how far you can come up. Keep your feet grounded, rolling up. Rolling up and then rolling back down. Keep your lower back on mat. Dip your thumbs onto floor above your head. Stretch. Reach for the wall. Inhale here and coming forwards. Reaching up one vertebra at a time. Maybe you can roll a little higher this time. Round your lower back. Broaden your shoulder blades. And roll yourself back down. And you might notice it sounds so easy, but it's not. And then that's fine. Explore. Roll back down, roll back up in your own pace, in your own time. Taking time, reaching and rolling. Switching on our core and really lengthening our spine at the same time. We hold a lot of tension, compression in the lower back, in the lower ribs. Opening that up. And if you need to grab your thighs to help you, you're welcome to do that. Good. And next time we roll down onto mat, we rest our heads above our hands above our head, and see if we can lift our feet to rest above the hips. If you can take it a little further, either keep the hands here or bring them in line with hips, and then lift your hips to dip your knees onto forehead, or maybe toes onto mat above your head. Or you just stay with your pelvis on the mat. And then breathe along the spine, round into center spine, round into lower back. Open up the back body, maybe turning palms up so your front shoulders can soften and relax. And be here, feel your blood rush into head, rush into heart. Feel your shoulders and the back of your head ground into earth. Lots of space around the spine. Take it a little deeper, and we roll ourselves back down onto mat. We step our feet back onto mat. We lift our chin to chest, we lift our gaze forwards and up, roll ourselves up to sit, and cross our legs. Sitting tall, cross your legs. Notice that you probably cross them the same way intuitively every time. And then reach your hands out to the side. Spread your fingers wide. Spread them wider than you ever have. Reach your hands back. Have your fingertips touch the mat. Creepy crawl your hands back and lift your heart forwards and up. So the shoulder blades sliding down, your chin, imagine it was connected to the mat. And there's no weight in your hands. You're just sliding them back. You're just reaching them back and lifting the heart. You ground it through your sit bones. Take your breath into heart center, into collarbones. And then from here, coming back to center, bring your hands together, interlock them. Turn your palms forwards. Drop your elbows and drop your outer shoulders. And then reach your arms up, 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 up towards the sky. Now notice how your shoulders want to lift up with. Inhale here, exhale, slide the shoulder blades towards your hips. Reach your hands a little further back, lift your heart and use your breath. If you want to close your eyes, do so. Every inhalation you lift tall out of your pelvis, out of your sit bones into crown, and every exhale you soften into the periphery. And stay here, deep breath, full body breath. With every inhale you expand. With every exhale you soften into that expansion. We're making lots of space. Maybe looking up to hands or looking forwards. And stay with it. Every inhale you grow taller, every exhale you soften your shoulders down. Notice how your body adjusts. Another big inhale, another deep exhale, and then looking to center, stay where you're at, and just gently twist from left to right, right to left. Just sway side to side. Keep your hands where they're at. Twist side to side from the root of your spine. Explore your range of movement and go fast as might work for you this moment, and see if you can stay connected. With every inhalation being an expansion and every exhalation a softening. Beautiful. Lift your navel up and in. Soften your shoulder blades down. Very good. And once you're leveled out, come to center. Release your hands. Palms facing one another. Slide shoulder blades down. Lift your heart. And then hinge forwards from the hips. So you're rolling onto front sit bones. And then you fold over your crossed legs. You surrender forward, whatever that means for you this moment. Good, lots of space. Give yourself permission to melt into the space between knees. And to roll up, we'll bring our chin to chest, round ourselves up, and lengthen. Roll our shoulders back a couple of times. Up to shoulders, up to ears, back and away. Hands onto knees, and then swap your legs. Cross them the other way. Good. Hands on knees, we hinge onto tailbone, onto front sit bones. Onto tailbone, onto front sit bones. So you're rolling forwards and back, a big movement in the pelvis. And we let our spine follow. And notice that when you round back, see how much can you round into lower back? How much can you open into upper back as you come forwards? Move into what's unfamiliar and uncomfortable. And then when you're ready, moving forwards and dropping over legs again. Notice whether you might be holding tension in your hips. Relax your knees down and away. Continue to breathe deeply. To come up, we lift our gaze and we come up to seated. We bring our feet a little closer and then roll over feet onto hands and knees, or however you land on hands and knees. And every time the I comes in, your mind comes in and tells you stories about who you are and what you are. Just come back to breath and sensations, breath and senses, and continue to flow. Now roll circles around your wrists, hands on the shoulders, knees on the hips. Have a look, your shins are parallel, gently circling. And look at your hands, see if you can spread the fingers a little wider. And see if you can add a breath wherever it feels challenging. Good. And then we'll center ourselves out. Let our hands be at feet as we lift our knees and just stretching the tops of the feet, maybe the tops of the toes, in our own perfect range of movement. We'll bring the knees back down. We'll reach our right hand forward, striving for the wall ahead of us. Left leg back. Flex the foot. See if you can stand your foot into the wall behind you and stretch yourself long. Stretch long. Point your tailbone away and slightly down so your navel comes up, and stretch a little more. We inhale here. Stretch even further. As you exhale, you point your left toes. Draw your left knee to left collarbone, right elbow to right hip. Lift your shin, lift your foot, lift your knee, squeeze your navel in. And on your inhale, you stretch out. And on your exhale, you round. Stay here for an extra breath. And inhale to stretch out. And exhale to round. Stay for an extra breath. Inhale to stretch out. And exhale to round. An extra breath here. Hand and knee comes onto mat. Right hand grounds, left hand reaches. Very good. Right leg reaches. Flex your right foot. Reach your heel into wall behind you. Reach your left fingertips into wall in front of you. Stretch yourself out longer than you've ever been. Use your breath. Another inhale here. As you exhale, you point your right toes. Right knee to right collarbones. Left elbow to left hip. Extra breath here. Hollow out your navel. And inhale to stretch. And exhale to round. Lift your navel up and in. Inhale to stretch. And exhale to round. Stay. And make it your own. If my pace doesn't work for you, take your own pace. If wherever I'm pointing doesn't work for you, make it your own practice. Let's do one more. Squeeze, lift, squeeze, and hand and knee comes down. Let's tuck our toes under. So the toes are on the mat, the heels above the toes. As we inhale, we arch. We lift our sit bones and lift our collarbones. And maybe slide and roll your shoulder blades to create a bit of space. And as you exhale, you round. Tailbone points down, chin to chest. Broaden your shoulder blades. Inhale to arch. And again, follow your breath. Follow your own body. If the hips need to sway left and right, they can do that. If you feel like really sliding shoulder blades around on your back ribs, you can do that. Feel yourself swimming through space, finding fluidity, not just in breath, but in our spine, in our movement. Taking the eye out the way with every breath we take, every movement we make. Being fully present, coming back into neutral spine. The toes are tucked, the knees start to lift. Have a look at your hands, the space between your hands. Looking forward, and then drop your collarbones towards your toes. Bend one knee at a time. Point your sit bones up. Maybe swaying the shoulders side to side. So this is our first down dog today. Arrive and land. Maybe have a look at toes. See your feet hip wide apart. Lift and spread the toes, looking forwards again. See your hand be really amazing, awesome feet, and then drop a little deeper into armpits and shoulders. Using breath. Lifting both heels up. Lift them forwards, bend your knees, poke your sit bones up. Looking forward. Now we want to stretch our toes. The balls of our feet are still on the mat. Heels lifting high. Let's see what it feels like to lift our right toes up to ceiling in your own perfect way. And you might be able to tickle the back of your head with your toes. Maybe not today, maybe next week. And bring your right foot down. Drop your heels down. Straighten out the legs, lift your sit bones. And again, we'll lift our heels high, bend our knees, tummy comes onto thighs, sit bones poke out, looking forward, left leg lifts this time, reaching up. Notice whether you're shifting weight in your shoulders, soften, and left leg comes back down. Now we walk our hands to feet, and we'll find our feet landing on the mat, shoulder wide, hip wide apart. So the outside edges of your feet are parallel, and there's about 2 fists between your heels, the distance. Hands come onto kneecaps, onto thighs. Roll your shoulders back, lift your chest forwards and up. Good. Long lines through the chest, looking forwards. Shoulder blades slide to hips. And exhale to fold. Then I think you unplugged the phone. Lift your sit bones up high. And again, bending knees, sliding hands up onto shins, onto thighs. Tuck your elbows and lift your heart. Let's slide our hands to glutes or sit bones and lift them up. Good. And then inhale here, lots of space. As you exhale, you fold over your legs. And then give yourself permission to sway from left foot to right foot, front feet to back. Thank you. It's fine. It's fine. Thank you, Ben. And from here, we tuck our chin to chest and roll ourselves up to stand. And we roll our shoulders back a few times. Back a few times, and land on our feet, standing the most conscious way, standing tall. Now you can just stay where you're at. I'll move this way, reaching right arm up. Drop your left hand down to earth and reach your right arm up and over. Good. Now check your toes, wiggle them, soften your feet, stand tall. Breathe through your center and soften through your periphery. And let's come back to center, both arms up. Now swapping sides, right hand down, slides down, reaches down, left arm up and over. In your own perfect range of movement, even if you want to sway here and explore a little deeper, you're welcome to. And then coming back to center. Sliding shoulders down, one more time, other side. Hips move over, fingers reach. Breathe yourself spacious. So whenever we move to the edges of our comfort zone, we want to make sure we make space first. Swap sides. And now that you're leveled out, coming back to center, reaching up. Grab the space above you and then draw it down as if you're crowning yourself. With your feet still hip wide, sit yourself back, push your sit bones back. Lift your navel up and in, reach it back, and then slowly hinging from the hips. You release your chest forward and you rise your sit bones up high. And your hands are wherever they are. Embrace exactly what is this moment. Lifting gaze, looking forward, and then find your plank on your mat. Find your heels above your toes. Find your hands slightly in front of shoulders with your wrists parallel. Your hands nice and wide. Now point your tailbone down towards heels and gently round your lower back upwards. Gently slide your shoulder blades apart, lift the back of your head upwards, and if your knees need to help here, they are more than welcome to help. If you're good on hands and feet, then this is where you're at. And notice how you might compromise your alignment as we stay here for a bit. Notice how strong muscles might take over, how you might be taking strain, and observe all of that. So we are on a physical level exploring how we react to life's challenges. Do we contract? Do we maybe start laughing? Or do we stop breathing? Or do we get angry or upset? Maybe irritated or annoyed? Notice. Well done. Exhale, back down dog. Shift it back, reach it back. Let's lift our right leg up to ceiling. Pressing into right heel, and you're moving in your own perfect range of movement, just reaching the leg up, enjoying the sensation, exploring, looking forwards. Look at the space between your hands, and then as you come forwards, knee comes into chest, shoulders come above the hands, you're on your left toes, and create space to step the right foot to land between hands. Your fingertips, they make these little domes alongside the heel to give you stability, but there's no weight there. Your feet hip wide, check your back foot, have a look, the toes straight forwards, the knee points down, and then as we inhale, we lift our heart and drop our hips a little, see if that works. And with your next exhalation, see if you can lift your hips and drop your heart. So we're stretching into front leg, folding over it. And again, we'll flow with our breath. So you inhale to lift the chest. If you want to stay here for another breath, you may, or you sway straight back into this version. And go forwards and back another, let's say 2 times. Making sure your fingers stay light on the mat. You're grounding into your feet. You're trusting your legs. And we'll meet with our right knee above our heel. Left hand under left shoulder, right arm rises up to ceiling for a moment. Yes, good. Bring your right hand down onto sacrum. So rolling shoulder back. See if you can drop your hips towards the mat as you lift your heart up high. Very good. Just that. And on our next inhale, we reach our right hand up. We bring it forwards again, down onto mat. Make these domes with our fingertips. Straighten out our front leg. Keep our left hand on the mat and rise our right arm up. See if we can do that. If the left hand wants to come flat, it may. If the left heel wants to reach down to mat, it may. Twist. And then as we bring our right hand down, we bend our right knee, our front knee. Find your feet, and then we rise up. Lunge warrior. Very good. Opening wide. Reach into fingertips. Lift your back heel high. And now, for some of us, the back knee might need to be bent. So just explore. Inhale again, exhale, hands come through the sides. Feel your hands move through space and then land them on your hips. Hold your hips tight. Hold your pelvis. Picture your pelvis as a bowl and you want to bring it upright. So for most of us, it's probably tilting forwards. See if you can lift the front hip bones, tuck the back pelvis, and then sink deeper into legs. That's where it gets challenging. Use your right hand to pull your right hip back and your left hip forward. Keep lifting your back kneecap up and away. And breathe here, be here. If you want to stay with your hands on your hips, you stay. If you like, you interlock your hands. You slide your shoulders down. Keep your elbows slightly bent. Keep your navel and pubic bone lifted as you reach your hands to back heel. As you reach your front knee towards front wall, we are stretching and expanding into all these directions at once. Maybe leaning head back, open heart a little wider, lift your hands a little higher, breathe a little deeper, and we release the hands, slide them past the hips up in line with ears, hinging forward. Hands come onto knee. Very good. From here, we shift our weight onto right foot. Keep your right knee bent. Keep your hands here. Left toes where they're at, or they might be able to lift up. Keep your right knee bent, lifting left leg high. Let your hands help you balance. Very good. Step it back. Lift it up. Our glutes are shouting, aren't they? Hands onto knee, we'll do that one more time. So breathe into it. Tapping into intense challenges is a really good way to get the eye out the way. So can you breathe your way past what's hurting? Can you connect into what's spacious within you? Right knee still bent, left toes lift. Maybe you want to drop your chest onto right thigh and your fingertips come onto mat as your left leg lifts higher. And maybe you're perfect where you were. We all come back up, step it back, lunge warrior. We enjoy the sensations in our hips, peel away all judgments of good or bad, want and not want. We just observe. And we exhale our hands onto mat. Let them become feet. Spread your fingers wide. Make space between body and mat so your right foot can slide back into three-legged downward facing dog. Beautiful. And your right leg steps down. And you have a choice of being still here and just sensing, or moving around if you feel like loosening up a bit. Stay here for another 3 breaths. And then we'll ground into right foot and we'll witness our left leg lifting. Very good. Breathe through whatever is challenging. Come forwards, knee into chest, shoulders above hands. See the space between your hands and then find your foot landing there. Feet hip wide, fingers are light. Make these domes alongside the heel. And then lift your heart, drop your hips. If you need to lengthen your stance, you can do that. Keep your front knee above your heel. And then maybe shifting it back as you lift your hips and fold over your extended leg. Play around with your foot placement. And inhale to drop the hips and lift the heart. Exhale to drop the heart and lift the hips. Notice how this side might be different to the other. Meeting with our knee above our heel, right hand under shoulder on mat, left arm lifting up and back. Soften your hips down to earth. If your knee needs to support you, it's welcome to. Hand onto sacrum, check your lower back, make sure it's long and wide. Point your tailbone down and away, open your heart a little more. Lean into yourself. Let your breath carry you. Lifting left arm up and forwards. On the fingertips or hands flat, straighten front leg. And we'll lift the left arm up again, coming into another twist. Notice the sensations around the hips and not avoiding them. Don't deny them, don't push them away, but go deeper into them. Reach. And let's have the left hand come back onto mat. Left knee above heel. Find your feet, they're strong and balanced as you lift it up into lunge. And take a moment to arrive. Maybe wiggling your toes to have a strong foundation. Check into breath. Remember, we breathe through our center to become long and tall, and then we soften through our periphery. And bring your hands through the sides onto hips. Just check, are your hips parallel to the front of the mat? Can you roll your right hip forwards, left hip back? Can you tilt your pelvis backwards? Can you lift your back knee a little higher? Maybe lifting or lowering back heel. And then maybe lifting arms to the sides and up again. If you'd like to explore a little further, bring your hands back behind. Interlock your hands the opposite way, the unfamiliar way. And witness that unfamiliarity. And roll your shoulders back. Lift your heart. As your heart lifts, make sure you lift your front pelvis width. So you'll probably feel a bit of a pull in your right hip flexors. Keep reaching right hip forwards, left hip back. Find your edge and play there, explore there. And we release our hands. They'll just come past our hips onto thigh. Now left knee above heel. Keeping left knee bent, we walk our right foot slightly in. Hinging forwards, torso parallel to the mat. Lift your right leg up. And if lifting up is here, that's perfect. If you can actually lift it, that's wonderful. Stay with your knee bent. Stay with your breath. Step it back. Settle up high. Let's do that again, shall we? Hinging forwards. Have your hands on your knee support to help you. Find your left leg and moving in slow motion. Really noticing, where am I struggling? Where am I resisting? Maybe left chest comes onto thigh as you reach your right leg a little higher. Maybe left knee bent or left leg might extend as well. Find lightness. Keep connecting to what's spacious within you. And coming back. Lunge warrior. A little celebration, a mini celebration. Honoring and thanking ourselves. And then the hands come down onto mat. The hands ground as feet. We make space between body and mat. And we somehow, however, find our left leg striving up into three-legged downward facing dog. Take another inhale here and exhale the left foot down onto mat. Have your big toes touch. And then open your knees as wide as the mat. Point your toes away, the tops of your feet are on the mat. Sit your sit bones onto heels for a moment. Sit up tall, maybe your sit bones drop into the space between your heels. Your big toes are touching, knees nice and wide. And then sliding forwards. Rest yourself onto earth. Very good. So maybe your forehead rests on earth or maybe a cheek. See what's true for you. With every inhalation, feel yourself expand and widen. Awesome. With every exhale, feel yourself drop deeper into earth. If you have a cheek on the mat, turn your head the other way. Soften and surrender your armpits to earth. Your chest, your torso dropping into the space between your knees. Let your breath dance through you. Every inhale and expansion, with every exhale you soften and surrender. Another full inhalation here. Deep exhalation. Walk your hands in, sit yourself onto heels. We'll bring our knees together. We'll bring our inner ankles together. Sitting onto heels, hands onto thighs. Pause for a moment. If you're on a block or a cushion, that's great. Pause and then bring your hands forwards. Hands on the shoulders, knees and the hips. Inhale to arch, to lift through the sternum. Lift through the sit bones and exhale. Generated from the pelvis, the tailbone starts. It points down and forwards and then the spine rounds. The head's last. And let's do that again, starting from the pelvis. So the tailbone comes up, the pelvis tilts forwards, and then like a wave that washes through your spine. And one more time. Tailbone points down. Feel your lower back round. Feel that ripple move through your spine as you round. And then slowly find neutral spine. We tuck our toes. We lift our knees, we find down dog. Dynamic down dog or still. See what's true for you. And then looking towards hands, walk your feet to hands. Watch your feet as they move. Your feet land hip wide apart. Your hands slide up your feet onto shins, onto thighs. Lift your chest forwards and up. And exhale, tilting from the pelvis, the knees soft. We flow into our forward fold. So you can hang here in a very organic way. If it's part of your practice and you want to take it further, you maybe slide your hands in under your feet. And then gently hugging elbows towards outer knees. You lift your heart, maybe lift the kneecaps and the sit bones a little higher. And you might be able to fold a little deeper, as if you could place your crown onto your feet. Reaching into sit bones. Feel your shoulder blades still sliding towards pelvis. A deep sense of curiosity filling your body. Keep your heels light. Shift weight into hands. Maybe wiggle your toes to massage your hands. And then inhale, lift your gaze forwards and up. Flatten your spine as much as you can. And let's exhale, go a little deeper, folding into it again. And now we bend our knees, round our spine, release our hands. And all of us ground into feet to rise up to stand. Coming up and rolling our shoulders back and away a few times. Soften, pause here, eyes open or closed, fingertips reaching down. Feel your heartbeat, notice your breath. Create length with every inhalation through your center and softness with every exhale. Grounding through your feet. In yoga, this is called mountain pose. Be the mountain. Be really strong and tall. And open your eyes, reach your arms back and away, through the sides and up. Make it big. Sit it back into chair. Poke your sit bones back. Feet grounding evenly, folding forwards. Lift your sit bones high. Lift your gaze. And right foot steps back into this lizard shape. Good. Right knee down. Keep your right toes tucked. Left knee above heel. We lift our arms. We soften our hips. We slide our shoulder blades down in your own perfect way. Reach and open. Your hands come onto knee. We lift our back knee. We find our feet. And we rise into lunge warrior. Let your body recognize lunge warrior. Squeeze those muscles that are hurting already. Very good. And open into warrior two. All you do is roll your back heel down onto mat. See your right foot pinky toe side parallel to the mat and expand it out. Expand it out. Gently sway, move. Sway, move. Maybe hands onto hips. Swaying, moving from the hips. Good. Arms out to the sides again. Hinging forwards. Now, the challenge here is that we want to contract. See if you can instead surrender into the space that is around you. And then the elbow comes onto knee with lightness. Chest open, the top arm maybe up to ceiling as you look up and lean back. Or maybe it comes up and over if it goes a little deeper. And the left hand might even come to inner left foot. Keep rolling right hip open. Keep leaning heart open. Wherever you're at, breathe into it, be there fully. And surrender into it deeper. And we take another inhale, another exhalation. And we inhale our way up back into warrior two. Now the right hip drops, the left hip lifts as our right hand slides down and left arm lifts up. Can we straighten our front leg for a moment? Point our tailbone down, lift our front hip bones up, go a little deeper. Good. Center out, front leg still straight. Front leg still straight, lean forwards again. Right hand onto front right hip, roll it back. Left hand lands where it lands, on shin or knee or mat. Your legs are parallel, your chest is parallel, your shoulder blades are parallel, and arm up. Lengthen into left side of torso. So especially in Trikonasana, I invite you to move your hips a bit and find space into it. Build it from within. Look down at the bottom foot, bend your knee, press into front foot and come up into warrior two. Beautiful. Now check into shoulders. Do they come up to ears or can you really relax your shoulders down? Make your arms be wings, resting on space. Sway your right hand past your hip, reach your arms up and then roll onto right toes. Sway your right hip forward, lunge, hinging forwards, arms out to the sides or hands rest in line with hips, palms facing forwards. Shoulder blades slide back, collarbones wide. Find your left leg and lift your right leg up. Now expand into fingertips, into toes, into crown, into heart, into breath. Stay fully present and step it back. Lunge warrior. Inhale here, big movement. As you exhale, reaching hands forwards. Hands become feet, find the mat. Left leg slides back and reaches back and lifts up. And stepping it down. Stay in your down dog if you're happy here. If you like, you come into plank. If Chaturanga, Dandasana is part of your practice, go for it. Otherwise, maybe the knees come down, the toes point back, squeezing the glutes to point the tailbone down, and then from there, building that length through your spine, lifting through your heart. Tuck your elbows into hips, make space for heart to shine. And lift yourself back onto hands and knees, or you roll over toes straight into down dog. We meet here. We walk our hands to feet. We ground our heels and make ourselves tiny round, grounding deeply through our feet and roll ourselves up to stand. Every time we come up to stand, it's this invitation to body to find its natural length and alignment. And now as we stand, we reach our arms through the sides and up. We sit ourselves back onto our little throne. Wear your crown, slide your shoulder blades, fold it forward, lengthen, whatever that means for you. Then looking forward, walking your hands to the front of your mat, finding your plank. If you want to go through Chaturanga, Dandasana again, you may, or you move straight to down dog, or you drop your knees, hug your elbows into hips again, lift your heart. Maybe this time you ground the tops of your feet into mat, lift the knees, and lift the heart again. Let your shoulder blades slide, and finding down dog, reaching it back. Now we look forward, and we find our right foot between our hands. Watch it step there. Help it if it needs help. Our left knee drops. Our left toes stay tucked if that suits you. Otherwise, point them away. Hands onto knee or arms sway up and back. Soften into your hips. Soften into your hip flexors. Soften into spine, open into heart. Bring your hands back onto mat. Lift your back knee. And then rise up into lunge warrior. Let your body recognize. Stay exactly where you're at. I'll turn around. Here we go. So stay exactly where you're at. Lengthen high and tall. Reaching up. And let's open into warrior two, rolling your back heel down. Bring your hands onto hips. I find that really helpful. So sway your hips, make a bit of space, open your thighs wide, check your back foot, knee above heel, and then aligning yourself towards the long side of the mat. And start it from the pelvis. Can you move a bit? Can you sway a bit? Can you find lightness in a pose that can be quite challenging? and open wide. Now, reaching forward, elbow to knee, and left arm maybe up. And this might be perfect for you, just the right amount of challenge. Your left arm could also come up and over, but sliding your left shoulder blades to hip at the same time. And you might find your right fingertips coming down, but you continue to lean into yourself. So continue to peel yourself open, breathing deeply. Really surrendering wherever you're at, consciously feeling your feet on the mat, the crown of your head, your breath, everything at once. Inhale here, exhale to go deeper, and on your next inhale, coming up, warrior two. Whew. Lean it back, reach into backhand drops, right hand onto right hip, lift it up, and then right arm strives up. And if you like, you straighten your front leg, squeeze your hips, point your tailbone, lift and lengthen through navel into heart. Your own perfect expression. Keep your front leg straight, coming to center, and then left hand onto hip, rolling it back, noticing alignment of hips, right hand onto thigh or maybe onto shin. Continue to lift through the inner legs, finding Trikonasana, triangle pose, expanding up. Notice all the triangles. So your right torso is nice and long, creating this triangle between leg and arm. Open up wide, turn your gaze up to hand. And not just your gaze, not just the eyeballs, but see it as if you were seeing with your nose. Point your nose to fingertips. Very good. And then looking down, nose to right foot, right knee bends, lifting up. Warrior two, left hand comes past the hip. We turn towards our right foot, roll onto left toes. Another big deep inhale here. Exhale, we hinge forwards. Hands come onto mat. They take weight. Right foot finds its way into three-legged downward facing dog. And it comes down onto mat. The big toes touch. The knees widen. The toes point back. The sit bones ground into your heels or inner heels. And again, you fold onto mat. Now, maybe your forehead on the mat. Maybe your chin. Maybe you can rest your heart into mat. See what your arms might need. Maybe they straighten forwards or bend gently in. And from here, without effort, coming forwards. Without effort, find yourself on your mat, on your belly. So stretch your legs back. Have your feet however wide or narrow they want to be. Lengthen and lift the feet to lengthen the thighs. Create a cushion with your hands for your forehead, if that's comfortable. If you prefer a cheek on the mat, just bring your hands slightly out. Rest your belly button, rest your heart onto earth. And this is our Shavasana today. So this is our moment of having our practice come together. Feel your heart beat as your sternum rests on mat. Notice your navel expanding and softening into mat. If you have a cheek on the mat, turn your head the other way. Rest the other cheek on the mat. Notice if there's a difference. Give yourself permission to fully soften into mat. Most of us are quite good at being focused when we're being challenged. When there's a bit more space, a little harder to keep focus. So stay present. Stay present with the softness as you would with the tension, with the contraction. And now we all bring our forehead onto our stacked hands and take a moment here. Guide your breath all the way into toes, into elbows. Notice your shoulders softening away from ears. Feel your third eye center as your forehead rests on hands. Guide your inner gaze up to the space between eyebrows, your eyeballs soft, your eyelids soft. Your tongue and inner ears are soft. Now we'll rest our forehead onto a mat for a moment while we slide our hands in line with lower ribs. Without effort, we gently press our hands into mat, our knees into mat, coming up onto hands and knees, just sliding back into child's pose. And when you're ready, effortlessly sliding up to sit on heels. Now as you come up, you bring your legs out one way, and then slowly crossing your legs in front. Find your sit bones, sit high and tall. Keep your eyes closed, trust your senses. Sit on a cushion if you need, hands onto knees. Bring your hands together. Gently rub them, rub them. Feel the skin, the palms, the inner fingers. Rub your hands into one another. Rub them, make them hot, make them warm. And once there is a bit of fire inside your hands, you stack them onto heart. You let your shoulders melt. You let your crown rise. Feel the warmth in your chest. Be so still that you feel the heartbeat under hands. And then bring something to your mind's eye that you're grateful for. Something beautiful that happened a long time ago, or just today, yesterday. Something really beautiful. Someone you love, something you're grateful for. Let that fill your heart. Let that bring a smile into your eyes, a smile onto your lips. Sharing this moment, we inhale together to just lift our gaze, our inner gaze upwards, lift our hearts upwards. And with our exhalation, bringing chin towards chest, taking our gaze inwards as a gesture of thanking ourselves. And as we do so, we thank one another. Lifting your gaze, bring your hands together. Thank you all for practicing with me this morning. Namaste.